What's popping out there, world? What's the deal? 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 And welcome to another edition of TJ Sports Nation Network, presented by your boy TJ, straight out of KC. I'm back, man. It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute, man. I know it, man. I had some things going on. Had to get used to doing some things again, and now I'm back, man, and we'll be able to be more consistent with it and stay at it a lot more than I had been, So, anyways, man, let's get ready to jump right into it, man. And we got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to catch up on, man. Let's start with Deontay Wilder. He had that huge fight as part of that 5-on-5 Frank Warren versus Eddie Hearn. This was back in June, early part of the summer. Uh, very, very disappointing night, to say the least, man, because, I really thought Champ was going to bounce back. But it's crazy because I had actually said Zilly Zhang was going to win that fight. And sure enough, that's what ended up happening. Zilly Zhang ended up stopping him, getting him out of there. I believe it was like the 5th round or something like that. At this point, this late in the game, Deontay's 38? I believe he'll be 39 in October or something like that. 2 losses back to back, one to Joe Parker and the latest one to Zilly Zhang. I think it's fair to say that those Tyson Fury fights took a lot out of my boy. It took a lot out of him, man. And I think it drained him so much to where he'll never be the same. He'll never be the same. He's pretty much through, And, however you want to look at it, in terms of his career. And, some people would say that Zilly Zhang is a Hall of Famer or whatever the case. However you want to put it, man, that's your opinion. Me personally, I don't know. I don't know for certain if he's a Hall of Famer or not. Those Tyson Fury fights could be argued with the exception of the last one. Actually, the second one and the third one could be argued, or no doubt those were wins by Tyson Fury all day. The first fight, the draw fight, it could have went either way. You could say Deontay Wilder won that one, and you could say Tyson Fury won it. I went back and I watched that fight 5 or 6 times, man. So whatever you feel like he won or he lost or whatever the case, or it was a draw. I've had people say all three. That's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's up to you, Whether or not you consider him a Hall of Famer, that remains to be seen. One thing I can say, he's not a purified boxer. He started so late in the game. If you want to say that he's a knockout artist and one of the best to ever do it, I could agree with that 1,000%. But in terms of him being a boxer and a Hall of Famer and all this and all that, I don't know if I'm ready to say that about Deontay right now. I really don't. However, I can say this. He should never box ever, ever, ever again. He should retire and step away because the damage is done with the Tyson Fury fights. Those last 2, he took beatings. I know he scored knockdown here, knockdown there, but he took beatings in those fights, man. He really did. And I think it took a lot out of Deontay, man. I really did, man. And so Zilly Zhang, I mean, Joe Parker, he lost the decision in that one, but Joe punished him too. Joe punished him. And, Zilly Zhang, that took a lot out of him too. He should never box again. He should retire and just go out on his shield. If anything, go out on his shield. Yeah, and then to go home and, he caught a domestic right after that. I guess he jumped on his old lady or something. I kind of lost a lot of respect for Champ, because for a while I considered Champ to be a stand-up type of guy. But that's not the case. Like that's just not the case no more, man. Champ's through, man, and he needed to just gone on about his business and focus on his kids, man, and get his shit together in terms of whatever he's got going on with his old lady. He need to just focus on that, man, and put the boxing shit behind him because he's net. The AJ fight with him, it's just pointless at this point. I believe AJ probably stop him, honestly. The Fury fights and the Zilly Zane fight, that took a lot out of him. It took a lot out of him. Everybody was jumping to conclusions too quick because he knocked out Robert Helenius. But come on, man. Look, we talking about Robert Helenius, man. At the end of the day, man. And he's not a Hall of Fame boxer either. So, at the end of the day, it's just time to move on from the whole Deontay Wilder thing. Much love to him, though. Hopefully he gets that situation with his old lady resolved. We'll see how it goes, but yeah. But let's move on, man, to a fight that happened a little bit before that. Fury and Usyk. I was very, very, very shocked at this one. Now, some people say, you don't give Usyk his credit and da-da-da. Usyk beat your boy AJ twice and that. And that's true. I'm very impressed with Usyk. And I never in a million years thought I'd say this, man. But I'm very impressed with Usyk. Hold on real quick, yeah. I gotta take this call. Oh man, my bad. That was a real important business call. But anyways, let's jump right back into it. Yeah, I was rather surprised with Usyk, man. He's a real good heavyweight, man. For somebody that came up from cruiserweight. Um, and in fact, I'm hearing rumors after he does the Fury rematch, he might drop back down to cruiserweight. But he's impressive, man. He's a real good, skillful boxer. Some people say Fury was robbed and things of that nature. Nah, I think we were all just rather surprised that Usyk was able to do the things that he did to Fury. But I believe still that Fury can win the rematch if it does happen in October, because that's the rumored time frame that they're wanting to try to target it for is October. So I'm cool with that, man. I definitely, and I would pay. I would, if that was a pay per view. I would pay for that fight because the first one was really good. It really was, So uh I'm down with it, man. But Usyk, he's beat two of the top heavyweights in the game, man, on some back-to-back type stuff, man. And he's proven that he belongs. And the thing about it, he's a small heavyweight. He's not a big heavyweight. He's just really skillful. So I gotta give the brother his credit, man. Like, I just gotta give him his credit. At first I was hating on him. I can't lie, man. We all got a little hater in us sometimes. But Usyk earned it, man. Like, and I was going for Fury. I had Fury beating him. But man, Usyk is a skillful boxer, good jab, great defense, knows how to stay on his feet. Um, Man, he ain't scared to come forward when he need to, man. So, and he did it against Tyson Fury, who's way bigger than him, man. I was very impressed. And I'm gonna give that man his credit. I'm gonna stop hating on him, man. I'm gonna stop hating on him. Like, ain't no reason for me to keep hating on him, man. For real, man. So, much love to Usyk, and I can't wait to see the rematch. So, we're gonna move on to Tank Davis, man, who once again proved he's that guy, man. And I just don't know if I see anybody beating him, man. I had my money on Frank Martin in that matchup, but I knew something was wrong with Frank when I seen him because he looked all sucked in and stuff, like he might have been weight drained or something like that, leading up to the week leading up to the fight. And so I had concerns about Frank Martin. But once again, and he, you know what? Frank fought a really good fight. Some people say he was winning the majority of the fight, up until he got caught with one. That's always going to be the case with Tank, with the exception of the Pitbull Cruz fight. Tank knows as soon as you slip up, he got you. and you know what? And that's what ended up happening, man. All it took was Frank to let his guards down one time, which is what he did, and he went to sleep. I think his mama still trying to wake him up, man. Like, and don't get me wrong, Frank Martin is a hell of a fighter. He may need to move up though. I think that weight class might be sucking him dry a little bit. So it might be time to maybe consider moving up. But I was impressed for the most part till he got caught with one with Frank Martin. But that ain't the first time we didn't see Tank, having somebody take it to him. Leo Santa Cruz did it kind of early in the fight against Tank, and Mario Barrios did it kind of early against Tank. And then, we can't forget about your boy Pitbull Cruz, who's fighting tonight on that Crawford card. That is an exceptional card. Just fire card. I'm going to get into that here in a minute. We're going to talk about that. But everybody want to talk about Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. Tank is going to wash Shakur right on out the water. Shakur don't hit hard. He's, he's a boxer, and there's been plenty of boxers since, for as long as boxing been around that weren't necessarily knockout artists, but they were skillful. And I give Shakur his credit. He's a skillful young man. He really is. But take a stop him about the 6th, 7th round. I guarantee you that. That ain't even a fight that I'm excited about. But if they make the fight happen, they make it happen. But if Shakur's sitting here trying to outprice himself, then the fight's probably not going to happen. Calvin Ford claimed that they sent over some contracts and Shakur turned it down or whatever. So I don't know. It's all kind of stuff going on with that situation. So I'm waiting to see what happens with it. But yeah, I got Tank stopping Shakur Stevenson. It ain't a question about that. So we'll wait and just kind of see what happens with that fight and just kind of go from there. But yeah, let's move on, man. Ryan Garcia's win over Devin Haney overturned because Ryan Garcia is a cheater. I love this. Because I knew something wasn't right. First of all, he came in too heavy the day of the fight or the weigh-in. He wasn't on weight. And he was on roids. He was doped up, man. And, he absolutely demolished Haney in a way that I ain't never seen Haney get demolished. But when you doped up on drugs, performance-enhancing drugs, you're going to do damage like that. And that's what ended up happening. Devin Haney just could never get the rhythm going. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Ryan Garcia broke his jaw. Like when you on performance-enhancing drugs, no matter what sports you play, whether you play football or you wrestle or you box, it really don't matter. It gives you that edge over your opponent. To some degree, you can kill your opponent. To some degree, you can kill your opponent, man. You gotta be careful when you on those roids, man. And I believe I definitely agree with the 1-year ban that Ryan Garcia has to deal with now. He cannot fight for 1 year. I agree with that. And he's just gonna have to deal with the consequences of it. So that fight is pretty much a no decision now. And Devin Haney wants it removed off YouTube and all major platforms because it wasn't a fair fight. And you know what? I agree with that. I always said that Devin Haney would probably be the one. I ain't saying he could beat Tank, but he could be that one that could really give Tank some hell. You know what I'm saying? But, Ryan Garcia, he's a cheater, man. It's just that simple, man. And cheaters never prosper. Much like I said, when you cheat in baseball or you cheat in, people get popped on steroids in baseball all the time, or you taking performance-enhancing drugs and you a linebacker in football. It's making you hit that much harder, man. Like when you on the roids, man, you can kill somebody, man. Like you got to think about people's lives, man, and the damage that you could do when you on those roids, man. Like that's not cool, man. Like, so if it was me, I feel like Ryan Garcia should be banned for the rest of his life, man. But ultimately, I can't make that decision. But yeah, I mean, cheaters never prosper, man. They just never prosper, bro. So shout out to Devin Haney and Bill Haney for getting that situation handled. And I look forward to seeing what Devin Haney does next. So now, let's move on, man, to Canelo and Berlanga. Another cherry pick by Canelo. Once again, man, like you got David Benavidez standing right there, been calling you out for the longest period of time. And yet you take another fight against a guy that hasn't fought anybody. Once again, now Jaime Maguna, he did his thing. He fought a pretty good fight against Canelo for the most part, but we all knew going into that matchup that it was another cherry pick by Canelo. I think Canelo just knows that Benavidez got his number, and he don't want to take the chances. Look what Bivol did. Like, nobody seen my boy Bivol doing what he did in the most skillful way against Canelo, and he punished him, man. He punished him, man. And I believe Benavidez would do worse. I really do. As bad as he want to fight, as bad as he been calling Canelo out, man, I believe he will punish him, man. And that's the truth, man. And Canelo knows it, and he's not going to take that fight. He'll keep relinquishing belts before he do that, So my boy Benavidez moved up to 175 his last fight. And, hopefully he gets the fights that he wants. Because I'm a David Benavidez fan, man, the Mexican monster, man. I'm a huge fan of David Benavidez. He's that guy, I would love to see him and Bivol clash at 175 at some point, or the Bitter Beef if he could ever get healthy. I would love to see those three kind of, put some fights on, against each other. That would be awesome, because it don't seem like that coward Canelo's gonna do it. He keeps cherry picking, man. Edgar Berlanga, are you serious, man? Man, come on, man. I ain't wasting $5. If that pay-per-view was $5, I wouldn't order it. It's a waste of time, man. He's picking fights that he know he can win, holding up all the damn belts. Man, come on, man. If you ain't gonna fight real competition, if you gonna keep robbing us, the fans, of the real fights that we want to see and we deserve to see, then you need to just go on and retire, man. You need to just go on and retire. Fighting a smaller Charlo that had been off and out of the ring for over a year, but you won't fight the bigger Charlo. Man, come on, man. Canelo, man, he's full of it, man. He's full of it, and I'm just kind of done with the situation when it comes to him. So we move on, man. Tonight's card in LA. Terrence Crawford, man. He's walking into a dogfight tonight, But that whole card tonight is going to be, and we'll get to that fight. That whole card tonight is going to be pretty good. Like, I love these fights on this card. Let's start with Jared Anderson and Martin Bakole. I actually got Martin Bakole beating Jared Anderson tonight, believe it or not. Martin Bakole is a pretty skillful fighter. A lot of people try to avoid him. And I'm just not impressed with Jared Anderson, man. Like, Jared Anderson gets hit a lot. He don't have the best defense in the world. And I feel like he's overhyped a little bit. I'm just keeping it real. And I believe that this is going to be one of them fights on that card tonight that's going to surprise a lot of people. Like, for real, like, if you picking Jared Anderson, you might want to think twice about that. Because I think this is going to be one of them fights on there tonight where you're going to be like, damn. Like, don't lose your money tonight. Don't lose your money tonight, man. Another fight I like on this card tonight, Jose Venezuela and Pitbull Cruz. I love this fight right here. I got Pitbull Cruz winning it, but I love this fight right here. This is going to be a really, really good showdown. Pitbull Cruz, man, rugged guy, man, gave Tank Davis hell. Gave him hell. I love this fight right here. But I'm going to lean towards Pitbull Cruz. I feel like he's the young Mexican monster in the making, and he's going to show who the real Mexican warrior is tonight, and that's the truth, man. He's going to show it. Then you got Andy Ruiz and Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Hopefully Jarrell Miller made his car payment. He caught that little case down in Florida, man, where they repoed his car or something like that. He went up there and got himself into some trouble, man. So I'm just shitting with you, I know he wants to bounce back after that loss against Daniel Dubois, but he underestimated Dubois. He really did, because Dubois is really a good fighter. He just had to make some adjustments. And I'm looking forward to that fight coming up in September with him and AJ. But this fight right here between Miller and Ruiz, he's been out for a minute. So that's a little bit of concern to me. Jarrell Miller lost some weight since the last fight against Du Bois. He was 330 something pounds. Now he's down to like 303, 305. I believe he came in at 305. I like this fight. I like this fight a lot. I just don't know who I want to pick. I'm having a hard time trying to decide with this one right here, man. Like this is a tough one right here, man. I can't figure out who I want to rock with because, in my opinion, it's a 50-50 fight. I wouldn't be surprised if it probably don't end up a draw. It could end up a draw tonight. That fight right there, it really could end up a draw. But I like both fighters. Andy Ruiz, he showed up in some big fights, and Jarrell Miller's been edging to get that big fight, and I believe that brother got a huge chip on his shoulder, man. Plus he want to go out there and perform and be the best version of himself, man, so he can make that car payment. I'll shake with you. But that's true, though, man. He got to make that car payment. But, it's going to be a good fight, man. Like, I like this matchup. It's a couple of more fights on that card, too, that I like, too. But these are the main ones that I'm looking forward to. And then you got the main event, man, Crawford and Israel Madriviv. And, man, I ain't sleeping on Israel at all. I got Crawford beating him. But I ain't sleeping on him, man. Israel remind me of Triple G. He looked just like a young Triple G. Now, I ain't no Triple G fan by no means. I feel like he was a cherry pick too. But he was dangerous. He was very, very dangerous. Now, my concern with this Madriv dude, he don't have a lot of fights. 10 fights in the game. He do got a lot of amateur fights, but that's amateurs. He doesn't have the experience that Crawford has, but he's always fought at 154, even going back to his amateur days. So I do, can see a problem with Crawford coming up. This is his first fight at 154. He said he didn't have any trouble making this weight like he did at welterweight, but he said it wasn't easy either. So that lets you know Crawford can get pretty big. He can get pretty big, but I just think the experience, Crawford's pound for pound number one boxer in the world. Madrimov will keep it close for a little bit, but I got Crawford, man. I got Crawford by decision. Yeah, and it's not to say this fight kind of reminds me a little bit of Floyd and Canelo, a little bit. Canelo didn't have a lot of fights when he fought Floyd, and Floyd was on top of the game. This fight right here kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but I'm edging it out to Terrence Bud Crawford, and we're gonna wait and see if this Earl Spence and Fortuna, is it Fortuna? No, not Fortuna. Big tall fella, man. We're gonna see if that fight gets made. Because I would love to see the rematch with Spence and Crawford at a bigger weight, a more comfortable weight. I really would. I really would, man, because I feel like, if we get a better version of Earl Spence, maybe the next fight between them two will be a lot more competitive than the last fight. Earl was completely washed out by that last fight and downright embarrassed. But when you out of the ring for over a year, that says a lot, So if Fedor and Spence gets made, which I would give that fight to Spence, even though Fedor is a very skillful tall guy, but we didn't see him go down against Brian Mendoza with a body shot. Dropped him, you know what I'm saying? But That's just how boxing is, man. Boxing is any given Friday, any given Saturday, any given Sunday, you know. Hey, all it takes is one punch to change the outcome of a fight, man. So I hope that Spence and Fedor get that fight set up, and Crawford take care of business tonight. It's perfect setup for them two to set that rematch up, and we could just go from there, man. So y'all make sure y'all order the fight tonight and tap in. And I am going to come back on tomorrow morning, and we're gonna recap what happens tonight. And we'll talk about all of it, and we'll just go from there, man. Hey, y'all be easy, enjoy y'all day, and Godspeed.